Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. The week is finally over with. We've had a fantastic week with Bitcoin miners, Bitcoin itself. It's just been a fun week. So we're taking, well, some of you guys might be taking profits. I'm still holding on till possibly 2024, 2025 timeframe, somewhere around there, depending where Bitcoin goes. But I think we're still early in this stage, right? So two things we're going to talk about today is obviously there's only two miners that have done this so far with the 52-week highs. We'll take a look at which those miners are, and I'll kind of go over those. And we'll take a look at the monthly metrics for the miners for November. We do have only two miners missing from that, which is Hut 8. They still have not provided their production update along with Mawson. So they're out of the picture there on that one. So you guys are aware of that. And as always, you guys know this. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. For entertainment, I keep repeating myself. For entertainment only, do your own research. And I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And I do appreciate you guys coming in to watch this. And if you could hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's get into what we do have here on, miners and Bitcoin right now. So it's going to be a pretty good week here on, obviously, the miners and Bitcoin. So Bitcoin actually is up today about, well, it's down now, but because it's changed over to the new time zone or the new day on it. But it's up to, it closed at today at approximately 44,192. It was up 2.11%. The miners had a fantastic day as well. If we look at the weekly chart here so far, we're 5 days into it and we're already up on it about 10%. So it's really good. We're up 4,000 roughly on the week so far. Prior best week that we had here was about, what is that, 7-8 weeks ago or so. We were up $4,530 and we were up 15% at that point. So this is still one of our best weeks that we're currently having. We'll see how Saturday and Sunday play out, but right now it's looking really good here on the chart as we have it. Okay, so this is all good. We may end up going to like 45 by the end of the weekend. Who knows? It's just been a fantastic ride here. We'll see how long this lasts. And then the miners here, we can see that the miners are kind of, we've had a couple that are down, a lot of them that are up, and we'll go through the ones that are actually the two that are up past their 52-week highs this year. And there's only two, which is surprising. I thought more miners would be up with Bitcoin going up to 44, close to 45,000. We obviously reached that a couple of days ago at 45,000. So here's what we have. Any obviously was down today, 0.65. Any is not one of the miners that has reached their 52-week highs or surpassed it this year. And you can see on the chart here where we are, where they were prior to that. Last year, they were at $6.30, and this was right around, was this August of last year, okay? So definitely a big drop from where they were last year. Next one is Argo. Argo was up today nicely, 20% up on the day. It's still, as you can see, way below from where it was last year. Again, it was at roughly, at that point, the high was $6.95 for it last year. And this was also right around August time, that time frame. Next is Bit Digital. So Bit Digital is actually up today, 5.97%. Last time the high was $4.80. This was back on June of this year. So we see a lot of these miners where they pretty much peaked in June or July of this year. And there's, like I said, there's only two miners that have actually surpassed this. Next one's going to be BitDeer. BitDeer's up 7.97% on the day today, so it had a good day. And the previous high here was back pretty much when it went live through their, I think they went through a SPAC merger or they just IPO'd. I can't remember now. I believe they IPO'd. But they were up at that point, $14.75. They're at $6.23 right now, but they had a good day today. They were up 8%. Next one is Bitfarms. Bitfarms here, you can see, hit a high today of $2.62. I can't really see that very well, but I believe that's what it was. But still closed at $2.59. So it was up 21% on the day today. The previous high here was right around, I guess you could say, going back to last year in August again, right? They pretty much closed at $2.32. So, they're one of the ones that has surpassed their 52-week high, which is great to see. And this, I mean, the stock has been just rocketing here ever since they provided the release that they are buying miners to get to 17 exahash. It seems like investors are really loving it. I think we might be due for a pullback, though. This has just gone too high up, too fast, and it's a little crazy right now. So we might have a little pullback on this one. Next one is going to be on Cypher. Cypher was up today nicely, 11% as well. Up, so that's good here. They peaked at $5.30 here, and this was back in July of this year. So that's another one that's kind of below where Bitcoin is right now, obviously, and where some of the other miners are. Next one is going to be CleanSpark. So CleanSpark, you can see here that they are at, well, they peaked at $10.45, it looks like. And this was on today. Excuse me, they closed at $10.34. Their previous high was probably right around here, which was at $7.59, and this was again in July, right? So you're seeing a lot of these miners where they peaked in July and June, but they're the second one that has actually gone above their 52-week high here. They were the first ones to do it. Bitfarms was the second one to do it, and surprisingly enough, those are the ones that I've been kind of investing in ever since late or early 2022. So I'm really surprised by this fact. I don't know what's the cause of it, if it's just a correlation, if it's just lucky, but I'll take it nonetheless. Cores is next. Cores was down today 3.29%. You can see here that they were way up here in August of last year. They peaked at $3.47, and they've been down ever since then. Next is DigiHost. DigiHost was down 0.67% today. They peaked in also, it looks like in July of this year at $2.54. DMG was down 4.25% today. They peaked also, it looks like in July at 43 cents. And then we got Greenidge. Greenidge was up nicely today, 18.67%, but they peaked back last year with their 52-week high at 48.90. This is obviously with the reverse split that they did a while back here, and that's obviously having an impact on the price at that point where it could have been if the stocks were, or the shares outstanding was a lot less. Okay, then we got Hive here. Hive peaked also in, looks like August of last year at $7.53. They were up today nicely, $7 or 7.14% to close at $4.20. Hut 8 was up 8.47%. They have just recently did a reverse stock split here, and they were up also on their 52-week high here at $22.75. That's accounting for the reverse split. And this was back in July of this year. Next is Iris Energy, was up just barely today, 0.17%. Their peak was also at $8.06 in July. They closed today at $5.82. Then you got Marathon. Marathon was up nicely today, 8.19%. Their previous high was also in July here at $19.88. They're currently at $16.78, so they're not too far away from it. They're doing really good. Mawson was up today 12.15%. Their previous high here was going back to probably, wow, same time around this year, looks like. Or no, actually, that looks like it's July here. Why am I seeing July when I want to see 1 year data on it? There we go. So that one's going back to March of 2023, so this year still. They peaked at $3.97 on that one. Next is going to be Riot. Riot peaked also at $20.65 here, and this was back in July of this year. They're currently at $15.83. They were up nicely today, 6.38%. Soluna was up today, 11.48%. They peaked earlier this year, January, at $19.13. I believe they did also a reverse split here. Yeah, they did a reverse split here recently on that one. And then we got Stronghold was up 6.56% today. They peaked in April of this year, which is a little bit different from some of the other miners, but they peaked at $12.50. Then we got Wolf here was up $13.66%, sorry, and they peaked also in July of this year. So based on all of these guys here, we do have only two that have gone above their 52-week highs, which is CleanSpark and Bitfarms, which is interesting enough. We'll see if any other miners can get past that with obviously Bitcoin going up in value and everything else. I'm surprised that the other miners are lagging a little bit, especially Marathon and Riot. I would think that those would be the first two to kind of overtake their 52-week highs instead of CleanSpark and Bitfarms based on historical performance that we've seen here in those miners. Okay, but let me know what you guys think of that. I thought it was kind of interesting. Just point that out and go over all the miners here really quick. And then we'll get into the miners, how they performed in November. And we'll grade them all, and we'll call it a day. So it should be a pretty easy day today. Okay, so here's the November 2023 top 5 Bitcoin miners for operations. We look at month-over-month hash rate growth, current hash rate, Bitcoins per exahash, month-over-month BTC mine percentage. So did that increase? Did that decrease? BTC mined, what's their actual number that they mine of BTC? Days mined. So this is looking at efficiency here. Obviously, the closer we get to 30 days or 31 days in the month, whatever the month has, the better. That means their uptime is a lot better. HODL, obviously, we're just looking at what is their current HODL, BTC percentage sold, how much they sell of what they actually mined in the month, and then we grade them on the total of, I believe it's 8 metrics, and along, we'll take out HODL and something else in there that we don't track. What is that? It is current hash rate. So we take out those two, so we divide it up with 8 metrics and 6 metrics, okay? And here's what we do have for, and we'll go through these relatively quickly here. Month over month percentage hash rate growth, higher is better on this one. Marathon, top place here. First spot here, they increased their hash rate by 20%. Bit Digital was second in place with 12.3. TeraWolf in the third spot with 11.2. Hive with 7.3. Riot with 5.4. So those are the kind of top 5 there as far as growth is concerned. And then when we look at current hash rate, obviously Marathon's number 1, right, with over 23 exahash, followed by Riot at 12.4 roughly. And you got CleanSpark at 10 exahash, followed by BitDeer at 7.2, and then Bitfarms at 6.4. So those are the top 5 there, and they get rated by, first one being 1, and then everybody else gets a point added on afterwards. Then we look at BTC per exahash, higher is better. So DigiHost here has been kind of an enigma. They have, I believe they're reporting also their hosting BTC that they get, and also possibly their power credits or power, whatever they're getting paid for that as BTC as well, because there's no way that they would be at 70. I think last month they were above that, even way above that, way above everybody else. So I'm going to let it slide. I'm giving them the top spot here because of that, but I wish they would just actually provide actual numbers that they're mining for the self-mining here. Okay, but typically we get Hive. Hive is usually like the best one here, along with Bit Digital as far as production is concerned and efficiency. So Hive is in second spot with 66. CleanSpark is also pretty close to that, not too far behind. Iris is in the number 4 spot, and Bit Digital is in number 5 spot. So that's kind of the way that those looked right there. Month over month BTC mined percentage, did that increase, did it decrease? And we had Bit Digital increase the most here by 27%, and BTC mined, followed by Riot being up 20%, DMG being up 9%, CleanSpark being up 5%, Hive being up 3%. So those are the top 5 there that we have. And then BTC mined here, this is obviously overall how much they mine in the month. Obviously with Marathon being at 23 exahash, there's no reason why they shouldn't mine the most out of everybody here. And I believe I am missing Core Scientific out of here as well. I don't see Core in here. And I have to correct it for the next one, because I think they're going to be getting out of bankruptcy, so I probably should include them in here as well. So we will going forward. But Marathon, I just noticed that, so sorry about that. Marathon, CleanSpark is in second spot, Riot in number 4 spot, Cypher Riot in number 3rd spot, Cypher is in number 4 spot, BitDeer is in number 5 spot. I think Core Scientific would have been in here as like number 2 spot on that one, okay? Days mined, so we have a bunch of them that were actually running for pretty much 100% or pretty close to that. We did have in the month, obviously, the Bitcoin network transaction fees adding a substantial amount of Bitcoins to the rewards. So that helped out a lot of the miners here. So we got Hive, CleanSpark, Iris, Bitfarms, DigiHost, Cypher, Bit Digital being all tied for first place. Then we got TeraWolf, BitDeer, Sphere 3D, and DMG. I guess you could say it would be like the top, I guess it would be what, top 8 or 9 on this one actually. But that's kind of the way things stacked up on this. Okay, going down to the HODL. We obviously know that Marathon has the most HODL at 14,000. Bitcoin's there, Hut 8 over 9,000, Riot over 7,000, and then CleanSpark over 2,000, 2,500. Hive at a little bit over 1.6 thousand. So those are the top 5 for HODL position. And then looking at who sold the least in the month of November, BTC percentage sold. Marathon sold the least, so that was good. CleanSpark sold the second least at 60%. Bit Digital sold the third least at 71%, followed by Bitfarms at 89%, and then Cypher at 90.3%. And then everybody else here has sold more. We saw obviously Hive and DMG sell well over their amounts. Hive has not provided their numbers for HODL over the last 2 months. They finally provided it, so I think that's why that's being offset there. So if they provide the numbers every month, that will have an impact on it here. Okay, but that's kind of what we're looking at right now. And then coming down here, we can see the scores based on all the metrics. CleanSpark came in at number 1, which they typically do. Marathon came in at number 2 spot, which is great to see as well. Bit Digital came in at number 3 spot. Bitfarms, along with Riot, Hive, came in number 4 spot on this. And then Cypher in the number 5 spot. So we have a 3-way tie for the 4th spot here, which is nice to see and kind of interesting as well. And then finally, if we look at just the 6 metrics that don't include HODL or current hash rate, CleanSpark still came in at number 1. Bit Digital came in at number 2 spot, Hive came in at number 3 spot, Bitfarms number 4 spot, and Marathon at number 5 spot. And then you can see how everybody else has done. Obviously, Hut 8 and Mawson have not provided their numbers yet, so they're out of the mix here as well. And that is pretty much. I mean, you can take a look at the individual miner metric scores here, and you can see CleanSpark, for the most part, 8 is kind of like our average line here. If they can be below that, that is kind of a great sign here that we want to see. And CleanSpark has done that. They were maybe not the best for everything, but they obviously scored really well enough on a lot of these to come down in scores here to give them the win here. Okay. And then we got, next one's going to be Marathon. Marathon, you can see here, BTC per exahash, they do curtail. So that obviously has an impact on it. They came in 13th spot there. Month over month BTC mine percentage. They were actually down on the BTC that they mined, which I was surprised. So that means they curtailed more, even though we had more Bitcoin network transaction fees added to it. They also increased their hash rate, which should help them out in the coming month. So I would expect that to come down here. BTC mined obviously came in number 1. Days mined, 6th spot there. And you can see here current hash rate, BTC HODL, all that stuff is in number 1 spot. Big thing that hurt them was these two here, unfortunately. Going next one is BitDigital. BitDigital, you can see here, for the most part, is pretty good. The only ones that are kind of high are BTC Mine in the 11th spot, current hash rate in number 12 spot, and then in BTC HODL in the kind of average in the 8th spot on that one. Going to Bitfarms, Bitfarms, same thing, below number 8 here, which is good here on the line. The only one that was above that was month over month BTC mine percentage. They were in the 10th spot on that, but other than that, they were below the 8, which is kind of what I like to see, which is good. And then we had Riot. Riot was also, for the most part, below the 8 spot here. The only big thing that hurt them was BTC per exahash efficiency, which was, they got number 14 spot. But it's hard to, with them it's tricky because they do get a lot of credits for curtailing and things like that. And I wish there was an easier way to kind of graph them. I would put them in like the top 5 of the miners that we have here because they are quite efficient. They do get power credits that can be applied, obviously, to possibly the next month's electrical bills and things like that, which then decreases the cost that it costs them to mine a single Bitcoin, which might make them one of the most profitable miners that we do cover here. So it's tough with them. Definitely do like them. I think they should be scored much better towards like the top 5 of the miners. And I always say that whenever I comment to you guys on the comments side of things. Okay. Next one is going to be Hive. Hive has also done pretty well here. The only 2 ones that are kind of high up there is BTC mined. That's 9th spot. Current hash rate, 9th spot, right? So that's kind of down towards the lower end of things. BTC sold. They sold quite a bit there as well this month, potentially because we don't know what they sold in October. And then next is Cypher. Cypher here is also pretty good. Couple things here that are kind of high. Month over month percentage hash rate increase. Month over month BTC mine percentage. And then everything else is kind of towards the average side of things, right? As far as production is concerned. TeraWolf, let's see, the only big thing is BTC HODL, current hash rate, BTC mined, BTC per exahash is towards the average. BTC sold, also they sell everything that they mine. On that one, you can see Iris here, how Iris stacked up for the month, also kind of high here as far as BTC mined, month over month BTC mined percentage. Month over month hash rate growth, not a lot of growth there. They've kind of stalled out a little bit here. They are getting more miners in. And then BTC sold, they sell everything that they mine, so that's obviously going to offset them a little bit here on the numbers. You got BitDeer. You guys can take a look at that one, see how that one stacked up and everything. DigiHost. A lot of the numbers were above 8 here, along with Argo. Argo, I mean, pretty much average across the board here. A couple of things that were a little higher than 8. 4 things, or 5 things really. And then we got Sphere 3D, also a higher end here. You can see how those numbers obviously increase for everybody else here. And then we got Hut 8, which hasn't reported yet, along with Mawson. So that is pretty much it. So let me know what you guys think of all of this. I use these metrics kind of to help me guide which way I want to go. And I've been kind of using these metrics ever since, well, the beginning of last year when I started investing into Bitfarms and CleanSpark. And, you know, this has kind of worked out pretty well for me. So I'm really surprised that those 2 are not only the top ones as far as month over month, well, monthly production. And then when we looked at the quarterly production and financials and things like that, those 2 came out in the top 2. So I'm happy in a sense. I'm also a little worried, freaked out, if you know what I mean. That the numbers have worked out pretty well for me here. But we'll have to see how things continue going forward. We're still very early in this stage. We'll see where everything ends up. Obviously, after the halving event, how the miners do, all of these miners and everything else. It could be that some of the other miners do better than what I've been selecting here over the last 2 years and dollar cost averaging into. Okay, but it is a little freaky. Wasn't expecting it, to be honest. But nonetheless, I'm happy with it. Okay, so we'll see how this continues going forward. Other than that, we'll see what happens over the weekend. We'll do the weekly update for the miners and Bitcoin, obviously, how they performed for the last week. It's going to be a great week. It should be a great week, at least. And then we'll see what else we can come up with as far as metrics and things like that. We may look at some year-over-year metrics on these miners. Are they actually mining more now than they were last year? Are they things like that? We may do some things like that as well. Kind of fun things to kind of see where everybody stacks up. Okay, but that's it. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And then the spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there. That's still, you guys have access to that if you want. It's $5 a month, less than probably a premium cup of coffee. And we also have a private Discord channel as well in there. That is always fun to discuss the miners, what's going on in the markets, Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, all of that stuff. So that's a lot of fun there. If you guys want to get access to all this stuff, highly recommend you guys join. Helps me out. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to ramble on otherwise. So I wish you guys a very, very happy weekend. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you guys have great weather. We're supposed to get rain, so it's going to be a sucky weekend for us. But we got football coming up on Sunday, so that's the only bright side of things. All right. So that's it. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.